Guðmundur and Geirfinnur disappearances, Iceland, 1974. They vanished two men in the dead of winter in a remote Icelandic town. No sign of struggle, no ransom note, no clue, just icy wind and questions that refuse to die. This is the mystery of Guðmundur and Geirfinnur. Stay with me. It is November 1974. Reykjavík, midnight. Guðmundur Einarsson, a soft-spoken clerk, leaves his shift at the sugar factory. The roads are dark, snow drifting like dove feathers in the air. He walks toward his home, a familiar route, but he never arrives. Meanwhile, across the country in the fishing town of Stokkseyri, Geirfinnur Einarsson, no relation, similarly vanishes without a trace from his boarding house. Two disappearances only days apart. Iceland, a tight-knit society, is stunned. The police are baffled. Was it accident, kidnapping, something darker? What happens next will shake the foundations of faith in justice. Keep watching. The answers are buried under ice. The search begins immediately. Neighbors check snowdrifts. Loved ones comb the roads, the coastline, the fields. The weather is merciless, wind howling, snowstorms closing in. Clues, footprints maybe, a door slightly ajar, a light gone out, but nothing definitive. Reykjavík police issue missing person bulletins. In Stokkseyri, whispers turn to worry. Did someone see Geirfinnur walk toward the cliffs or fade into the glistening sea mist? The minute you think you understand, something new emerges. Don't look away, the tension is mounting. Public alarm grows. Newspapers publish photographs. Posters go up on lamp posts. Interviews with family members, mothers, fathers, sisters tearfully pleading. Some believe in natural disaster or animal attack. Others fear foul play. A cold case becomes the talk of every small tavern, every kitchen table. Meanwhile, the Icelandic police announce that the two cases may be linked, though there is no obvious connection between the men nor their lives. What if the connection is something no one has dared to imagine? Be ready. What you'll learn in the next minute will twist everything. Flashback. Geirfinnur had dreams of going abroad, regularly wrote letters, was seen by a neighbor the evening of his disappearance, carrying a small suitcase. Guðmundur had appointments, nothing unusual, but one witness claims to have seen him on a bus he shouldn't have been on. The police begin compiling timelines, questioning alibis. Yet discrepancies begin to appear, witness statements don't match. Some are contradictory. Time passes, cold air eats at hope. A failed alibi, a hidden lie. The next revelation is coming, and you won't believe how it changes the case. The investigation intensifies. Forensics rudimentary by modern standards. Snow samples, human footprints, dog tracks, yet no bodies, no murder weapon. Reykjavík's chief of police pleads, "We have enough manpower but not enough evidence." The public begins to suspect cover-ups. Rumors of secret investigations pop up, of people being questioned in darkness, of evidence disappearing. The families hired private investigators. Icelanders overseas begin pressuring the government. International attention flickers. What was hidden in the darkness will come into the light. Just one more minute, and you'll hear what was found. Police announce they have found cave footprints near Geirfinnur's last known location, deep in lava tubes, difficult terrain, dangerous. Searchers rappel into small fissures. In Guðmundur's case, a witness claims to see a tall man near a remote hayloft late at night. Leads multiply, but many are false. A man is arrested, then released. Someone confesses, but later recants. Public faith both hopes and trembles. Who is lying? Each clue unearths more questions. Don't blink. When you come back, you'll learn which confession shook the nation. In the winter of 1975, under snowy skis, the case becomes a polarizing force in Icelandic society. On one side, those demanding closure no matter the cost. On the other, doubters pointing out procedural errors, lack of oversight, police pressure. A trail of potential suspects emerges. Friends, strangers, maybe state actors. Psychological pressure mounts. Interviews become coercive, confessions suspicious. The media smells a scandal. Because when someone confesses under pressure, what does truth even mean? Stay on. They will now reveal the controversial confessions. Confession. A man claims he helped abduct Geirfinnur, lured him into the lava tubes, locked him in a cave, left him there, and that he had died. Yet no body ever found. The man goes through trial. The guards, the tunnels, the witnesses, a complex web. For Guðmundur, another confession, disjointed, inconsistent, it's clear. Something went terribly wrong in interrogation. Maybe the men were coerced. Maybe the evidence was manipulated. The confessions begin to crumble under scrutiny. Confession or coercion, reality or performance. The court's decision is coming. Don't miss what it decides. The legal proceedings drag on. Appeals, retrials, statements retracted. The public follows each hearing in hushed tones. Scholarship arises. Psychologists speak of false confession phenomenon. Experts question forensic methods used in caves, contamination, impossibility of verifying death without remains. Skeptics say the police forced fruit from barren branches. Families continue their own parallel investigations, digging, remembering, refusing to accept official narrative. When justice and doubt fight each other, who wins? Keep listening. The rulings are about to take a shocking turn. 1977. The Supreme Court of Iceland reverses some convictions. New evidence is demanded. For Geirfinnur's case, cave maps are re-examined, geologists consulted. The caves have no passages matching the description. Guðmundur's supposed route is retraced, no footprints consistent with his clothing. Witnesses whose identities were kept secret are revealed or their accounts shown to be coached. The state admits errors, but many convictions remain. Many questions linger. Errors admitted, but is that enough? In the next segment, you'll hear what modern science says, what it can't say. Decades pass. The cold case becomes legendary. Forensic technology advances. DNA, improved geological surveying, audio recording analysis. Families asked to exhume caves, reopen files. New documentary filmmakers recheck statements. A national reckoning. How much power do the police have when the state exerts pressure? How does innocence get preserved or violated? Science might give clarity or confirm the abyss. Stay tuned. Something the experts discovered will change everything. In 2010, a new commission is formed. They review all available evidence, archival photos, notebooks, labels, voice transcripts. They interview surviving witnesses. They map the caves with laser scanners. Their preliminary report reveals that certain confession details are impossible. Passages don't exist. Caves collapse, acoustics don't match, suspects' memories conflict. The commission recommends compensation for the families, but still, no bodies, no final resolution. The findings are damning, but still incomplete. Waiting on the horizon, a moment of truth. Public opinion swings. Some see this as a miscarriage of justice. Others fear that admitting fault could collapse trust in institutions. Politicians avoid definite statements. The victims' families age, some die without knowing. Yet the story resonates across Iceland, in schools, in art, in literature. Portraits of Guðmundur and Geirfinnur appear in galleries, murals, podcasts. Their names become symbols not only of loss but of rights, of how the law must protect the powerless. Art, memory, history, they keep alive what the law might forget. Next, we go to the heart, the unanswered questions. What exactly happened in those caves? Why no body? Were the caves properly documented? Was evidence lost, destroyed, or deliberately hidden? How reliable were the original detectives' methods under pressure? Key questions: who ordered what and who benefited from silence? Conspiracy theories emerge. Secret police, mental health institutions misused, cover-ups. But credible proof? Not yet. The deeper you dig, the more shadows you find. Soon, you'll hear from those who chased these shadows to the edge. Interviews with surviving investigators. Some regret, some defend their actions. Family members recount anguish, birthdays without closure, official apologies that ring hollow. Eyewitnesses retrace their steps. Technical experts show that certain alleged escape routes from caves are physically impossible. Forensic scientists demonstrate that biological samples were too degraded. Some forensic photos lost, others mislabeled. When memory fails, institutions must not. Coming up, a shocking detail that was overlooked, perhaps deliberately. In one transcript, a witness claims to have seen lights in a cave when there should have been none. In another, the timeline for Guðmundur's disappearance contradicts the bus schedules. A core suspect's alibi is undermined, but then that suspect claims coercion by police. Another document surfaces, minutes from a high-level meeting where officers admit we may have pressured statements to close the case. The chilling possibility: truth sacrificed for case closure. Is this a crime of passion or of power? The story you'll learn next might undo decades of official narrative. New media investigations dig into cold storage files, unpublished audio interviews. Some recordings are muffled. Others include strange pauses, people whispering off camera. One tape allegedly has echoes suggesting people were speaking in caves. Another, the sound of distant waves when none should be. Experts analyze background noises, conclude some voices weren't in the same room. Identity theft, deception. Because sometimes what's not said speaks louder than what is. The next minute's revelation will haunt you. The question of geography becomes central. Maps once accepted as proof are now challenged. Lava tubes shift or collapse over years. Some passages claimed in confessions are not on any official map. Geological experts say some caves never match the descriptions. The air circulation, water flow, rock strata, all inconsistent. In short, some confession details could not physically be correct. If physical reality contradicts confession, how did they get it so wrong? Hold on. The next story will expose a specific contradiction so blatant it cannot be ignored. One investigator points out, a witness said they saw Geirfinnur cross a frozen river at dusk, but records show the river was unfrozen then. Another said Guðmundur passed a red barn, but that barn burned down months before. These are more than misremembered details, they're red flags. Something about the fabric of testimony is tearing. Evidence is unraveling. Mistakes, fabrications, or cover-ups. The next minute you'll hear what the survivors demand. The families start legal proceedings for compensation. Public commissions open. Judges recommend reopening trials. Some convictions are stayed. The state offers apologies, modest financial payments. But the families say that's not enough. They want bodies, they want final verdicts, they want institutional accountability. International media turn focus to Iceland's justice system. What does justice look like when years have swept away evidence and hope? The following minute brings you voices from those still living it. Interviews Guðmundur's sister, trembling. I want to see the place, feel soil, touch stone. Geirfinnur's daughter, grown old, still searches. Lawyers, human rights experts. Many argue Iceland failed basic human rights standards in its investigations and trials. Academics compare this case to others globally. Wrongful convictions, coerced confessions, state apologies. Hope flares. Could this case help reform legal procedure in Iceland? Because the story isn't just about what was, but what might yet be. Coming next, one forensic expert shocks the panel by saying the evidence never existed. A senior forensic pathologist testifies that certain pieces of evidence cited in the original trials have no chain of custody. Some photographs used to support claims are missing or manipulated. He says, "I cannot verify the location or even the condition of the cave as described in records." Opposing counsel claims these are minor technicalities, but for the families, they are existential. If official records cannot even be trusted, how then can we trust verdicts? Next, you'll discover what international legal bodies now say. Amnesty International, European Committees on Human Rights, some pass resolutions, some issue recommendations. They demand reopening of trials. They criticize the culture of confession under duress. They say Iceland must compensate and seek truth. The pressure is international. Icelandic authorities respond defensively at times, acknowledging some mistakes, contesting others. The tug-of-war between sovereignty and global human rights norms begins. This is no longer just a domestic tragedy, it's a test of justice everywhere. Next, a revelation that could topple what remains of the official story. A historian uncovers personal letters between police officers and prosecutors suggesting early decisions were made to close the case quickly because public unrest was growing. One prosecutor writes, "We must give them closure even if unsure." Another officer notes that no body will likely be found, but it's better for morale if people believe something was done. If true, that's a chilling admission. Case closing over truth. Because when closure is bought, at what cost does silence come? Watch what emerges in the next piece of evidence. A newly discovered diary of an eyewitness, never before public, claims that he saw Geirfinnur being led away by two men, not into caves, but toward a vehicle parked off-road. That conflicts with almost every official account. The diary was ignored in early investigations. The family now insists it should be re-examined as central evidence. Could the real disappearance path have been diverted? As the contradictions pile up, the foundations of the case shake. What if the disappearance was never what we were told? A journalist retraces routes claimed in confessions. She drives snowy roads, inspects ravines, checks logs of snow depth at times of midnight. She finds that in one account snow would have been chest deep, but footprints described look shallow, physical impossibility. She visits the barns, the farms, the people mentioned in testimonies. Many are unavailable or dead, records lost, but patterns emerge. Stories repeated in police statements exactly alike, suggesting coaching. Truth might be hidden in the gaps. What's not said, who's not here. Next, you'll see what the legal system is willing to acknowledge. In 2018-2020, the Icelandic government passes motions to offer posthumous pardon or at least symbolic recognition for the wrongful convictions. Some family members accept, others reject, saying that without bodies, without certainty, any apology feels shallow. The legal definitions of presumed guilty vs. convicted become heated. Newspapers print editorials. Are we sorry for what was done, or sorry we got caught? Because an apology doesn't undo what was lost. The next voice you'll hear is from someone who felt the law betrayed them. We hear now from Geirfinnur's surviving brother. They said he's gone forever, but I always held hope someone lied. Guðmundur, sister. Every winter I see shadows in the wind expecting someone to return. Lawyers argue for compensation. Some are awarded modest sums. Some legal papers are sealed. Some judges refuse to reopen cases completely. Families still push for full transparency, release of sealed archives, names of people interviewed, internal police memos. Can transparency heal decades of ambiguity? Coming up, a final twist, a discovery so unexpected it turns public sentiment on its head. A historian finds a map in a municipal archive, not previously disclosed. It shows an alternate route possible for Geirfinnur's escape, one that avoids known caves entirely. Also, detailed weather logs show storms might have made caves inaccessible at the times claimed. This map and log were not used in original trials. For Guðmundur, a similar logging issue, bus schedules corrected, a shift in distance. These overlooked facts could change the narrative. Because when one small map was hidden, an entire verdict might hinge on it. Don't go away soon, a closing confrontation. A public debate televised. Defenders of the old verdicts argue there was no legal standard then for many of the modern forensic tools. Others argue that legal standards are timeless. Confession under fear is no confession. Families demand full exonerations. Some politicians promise reforms, changes in interrogation law, oversight bodies, requirements for corroboration. The weight of public opinion is immense. Reform looms, but only if we keep asking the question. The next few minutes will reflect on the legacy. Legacy. The Guðmundur and Geirfinnur case becomes a benchmark in Iceland for wrongful conviction, institutional accountability, transparency, and human rights. Law schools teach it, activists cite it. Families of other missing or wrongly convicted people see hope. Yet for every reform passed, sorrow remains. For every apology, a missing person still unaccounted for. Truth, always partial. Because some mysteries stay open, so that society never forgets. Next, the last minute you'll question what closure really means. Imagine living your life with fundamental questions unanswered. Did they suffer? Are they even dead? Could they have returned? Could they be somewhere hidden from the records? The family's lives are defined by this uncertainty. Icelandic society, too, carries the weight. Festivals, art, literature all commemorate not just loss but unresolved crimes. The land itself seems to mourn. When does closure become forgetting? And when does remembering become justice? The final stretch is coming. Owning the past. Many call for an official truth commission, fully independent with power to declassify documents. Calls for ritual commemorations, memorials near the caves, parks named in their honor. Schools teach the case so new generations understand the fragility of justice. And amidst all this, Iceland's media reflect. What responsibility do we have as witnesses? You now know what was and what might have been, but how do we move forward? The end is almost here. Final interviews, a judge says, "We may never know everything, but we must never stop trying." A human rights lawyer, missing is not just their bodies, it is their voice. A cousin, "I forgive, but I do not forget." The elder sister of Geirfinnur, "If I die before answers come, let others carry the question." Public mood, solemn, unresolved, but not defeated. As we reach the closing moments, ask yourself, what is justice worth if it demands unflinching truth? The case of Guðmundur and Geirfinnur remains one of Iceland's greatest mysteries. No bodies, no definitive proof. What we do have: courage, persistence, truth seekers who refuse to let stories die. Their names live in memory, law, art. Their disappearance forced systemic change, a cautionary tale. When institutions fail, people must remember. When mysteries persist, justice must still be pursued. And for you, the viewer, let their story remind you never to accept easy answers, never to silence a question. Keep asking, keep pushing, because maybe one day the ice will crack and the light reveal what's hidden beneath. If you believe in truth, share this story. Let Guðmundur and Geirfinnur not be forgotten. Demand transparency, support reform, and above all, never let cold cases grow cold in our hearts.